Tom Holland's future as James Bond wasn't exposed by a studio insider or a trade publication, but by a single, careless reflection in his own phone. For months, the world has operated on the assumption that the Bond casting rumors are just that. Rumors, a playful parlor game for movie fans and betting houses. The common belief is that a handful of talented actors are on a short list, with Holland being a youthful, perhaps even audacious candidate. The public narrative paints a picture of producers carefully weighing their options, searching for the perfect successor to Daniel Craig. But the reality we're now learning is that a now-deleted Instagram story may have accidentally confirmed he not only landed the role, but that the leak has triggered a studio meltdown of epic proportions, jeopardizing the entire nine-figure deal. This wasn't just a social media blunder. It was a potential contract killer that rips the curtain back on how Hollywood really operates. So what exactly did the reflection show that has powerful executives panicking? Why are the notoriously secretive Eon Productions reportedly furious, and what does this mean for the future of the multi-billion-dollar franchise? And most importantly, how does this fit a hidden pattern of leaks, leverage, and manipulation that has defined the James Bond casting process for decades? We've analyzed the timeline, consulted with industry sources, and broken down the digital evidence to reveal the truth behind the photo that was deleted in under 60 seconds, but not before it was screenshotted into history. Let's start with the digital ghost that Holland's team tried so desperately to erase. The leak didn't come from a script left in a taxi or a chatty agent. It came from a seemingly innocent Instagram story, a casual direct-to-fan video that millions of celebrities post every day. Per multiple reports from eagle-eyed fans who managed to capture the image before it vanished, Holland posted a short video of himself talking to the camera in what appeared to be his home office. He was energetic, charismatic, discussing an upcoming project, but it was the background, specifically the reflection in a framed poster behind him, that set the internet on fire. For a split second, as he adjusted his position, the screen of his personal phone, which was lying face up on the desk, was perfectly mirrored in the glass. It was a fleeting, almost subliminal image, but in the age of 4K video and obsessive fandom, it was more than enough. Digital analysts and fan forums immediately went to work, sharpening, deblurring, and enhancing the captured frames. What they allegedly found wasn't just a random document, but text with an unmistakable and damning structure. According to these forensic breakdowns, key phrases were allegedly visible: MI6 internal memo, Q branch prototype, and most damningly, a character named Anya Amasova, a clear callback to the iconic KGB agent from The Spy Who Loved Me. Crucially, the header document was dated for the current year, ruling out the possibility of it being an old fan script or a prop from another film. This wasn't a rumor, it was a receipt. The level of specific, lore-heavy detail visible in the reflection, however grainy, pointed directly to an official production document, turning a plausible fan theory into a high-stakes, verifiable leak that likely violated one of the strictest NDAs in entertainment. The revelation of a potential script in Holland's possession is explosive on its own, but it's the studio's ferocious reaction that truly reveals the scale of the disaster. This brings us to the most shocking consequence: the multi-million-dollar meltdown happening behind the closed doors of Eon Productions. While the public sees a funny gaffe, a momentary lapse in judgment, sources inside the production pipeline describe a state of absolute, controlled panic. Why? Because according to an entertainment lawyer familiar with these types of blockbuster deals, actors in consideration for roles like James Bond signed some of the most stringent, multi-layered non-disclosure agreements in the industry, often months or even years before any public announcement. These aren't simple "don't spoil the movie" agreements. A source claims Holland's preliminary contract contained a highly specific social media conduct and digital footprint clause with a zero-tolerance policy for leaks accidental or otherwise. A PR strategist we consulted explained that for a brand like Bond, which is built on decades of mystique and control, an uncontrolled leak is a 5-alarm fire. The financial penalty for a breach isn't just a slap on the wrist. It could reportedly include the forfeiture of his entire initial signing bonus, a sum likely in the 7 figures, and in the most extreme interpretation, could give the studio legal grounds to void the offer entirely. This isn't just about spoilers, it's about brand integrity, security, and the meticulously planned multi-year global marketing rollout for the world's most valuable cinematic IP. The unquote meltdown isn't about a plot point getting out. It's about their chosen star proving he could be a 9-figure liability before the cameras even roll, potentially unwinding the biggest casting decision of the decade. However, to fully understand this incident, you have to ask a far more cynical and a far more interesting question. Was this truly an accident? Or was it a calculated, deniable move in a long game of psychological warfare? The history of James Bond casting is littered with strategic leaks designed to gauge public opinion and manipulate negotiations. When Daniel Craig was announced as Bond, the backlash was famously severe, with websites like craignotbond.com calling for a global boycott. Yet producers held their nerve, confident in their choice. Insiders have long speculated that initial rumors of Craig's casting were actually trial balloons floated by the studio itself to see how the market would react, preparing them for the inevitable blowback. By framing Holland's leak within this historical context, a new and more conspiratorial possibility emerges. Could this accidental reflection be a brilliant, deniable way for Eon to test drive a younger, more modern, social media native Bond? They get to see the global reaction, the excitement from his massive fanbase, the criticism from purists, the endless media debate, all without a single official press release or financial commitment. If the public embraces the idea, they can move forward confidently. If the reaction is overwhelmingly negative, they can plausibly deny everything, frame it as a simple mistake, and activate the very contractual clauses we mentioned to pivot to a different actor, leaving Holland as the unfortunate and legally silenced fall guy. In the world of 007, where deception is the name of the game, this leak might be the most cunning trick of all. The immediate aftermath of the post provides even more clues to the severity of the situation and the studio's involvement. The digital cleanup operation was executed with the speed and precision that would make MI6 proud. The Instagram story was reportedly live for less than 60 seconds before being scrubbed from Holland's profile. But in the digital age, 60 seconds is an eternity. The screenshot had already gone viral on Reddit and TikTok, spreading faster than any official retraction could. What happened next, however, was the real confirmation of the leak's legitimacy. Within hours, users on social media and forums who had posted the sharpened, analyzed images began receiving formal DMCA takedown notices. According to tech journalists who traced the digital origin of these notices, they didn't come directly from Sony or Eon Productions, but from a third-party brand protection agency based in Europe, a digital cleanup crew known for its discreet, aggressive work with major studios on sensitive IP leaks. This is a crucial detail. By using a third party, the studio creates a layer of plausible deniability. Yet by issuing these takedowns, they inadvertently confirmed the image's authenticity. You don't send in the expensive international lawyers to scrub a fake rumor. You deploy them when a genuine high-value asset has been compromised. This aggressive legal response transformed fan speculation into hard fact, proving that what was seen in that reflection was something the producers desperately and perhaps strategically wanted to control. This single fleeting mistake has now reportedly thrown the entire Bond ecosystem into chaos, reopening doors that were thought to be firmly closed and locked. According to sources speaking to Variety in the days following the incident, the uncertainty around Holland has prompted the studio to re-engage with other top contenders who were previously considered runners-up. Names like Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who offers a more rugged and traditional Bond, Rijay Peshbune, with his suave and sophisticated persona, and Damson Idris, a critically acclaimed actor who would represent a bold new direction, are reportedly back in active consideration. This isn't necessarily because the studio wants to replace Holland, but because the leak has given them immense, almost unbeatable leverage. They can now use the credible threat of moving on to another actor to renegotiate terms, impose even stricter conditions on Holland's contract, or demand more control over his public appearances and social media. It puts him in a position of profound weakness, forcing him to prove he is trustworthy and compliant. The leak didn't just reveal a secret, it destabilized the entire power dynamic between the would-be star and the studio. For the other actors waiting patiently in the wings, Holland's blunder is the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to re-enter the race for a role that just a week ago may have already been unofficially and silently filled. In the face of this raging firestorm, Tom Holland's team has deployed a classic and often effective crisis management strategy: total, deafening, and absolute silence. There has been no denial, no notes app apology, and no witty social media clapback trying to make light of the situation. Instead, Holland's official accounts have pivoted hard, almost jarringly so, to promoting his upcoming stage play in London and a separate, unrelated Netflix project. They are flooding the zone with new, approved content, attempting to bury the Bond story under a mountain of sanctioned publicity.